Hey, it is Coach Kinsey Shae here with Counselor Bobby Merwin, and he's in Vegas today.
Yeah. I stopped down. Maybe y'all are helping me. I stopped gambling so that I could do this. So you know what I'm not doing?
Stop
Losing
it.
money.
Stop it. So today, we thought we would just talk about, your circumstances. They don't determine, it doesn't mean you have to sabotage your self-care. So we're going to kind of break that down from a female coach perspective and a male counselor perspective with a Gen X lens.
Okay.
I think first and foremost, it's like I really want people to step in their circumstances. Use that, be the sky kind of moment of just not anchoring to your emotions. Just see where you are and what's going on in your life. You might be at the point where you're worried about money. You're working tons of overtime. You might have a job and you're worried about losing it, or you might have lost it. I think that's kind of the climate we're in right now. And the first thing that usually falls off is our self-care. Yeah. So self-care can mean a lot of different things. It could be working out. It could be hobbies. It could be reading. It could whatever fills your cup and makes you have purpose. That is what we're talking about with self-care. Mm-hmm. It adds something. It adds value to your life. So I really just want people to take stock and inventory of their life right now, and write it down. Like, where are you at? No angst, no judgment. Just really, because the first way of, plotting a route is to know where you are and where you want to go.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's a map.
Yeah.
And the reason that we're bringing this up is because before the show we were talking about how it's pretty common that Gen X people like to just chin up and muddle through.
Right.
And sometimes we have to stop down to do a little bit less so that we can do more. I know that sounds funny, but think of it as like inertia. You're doing this so that you can come up on the other side and do the things that you need to do. And you and I were talking about this trip that I'm on right now. I had to run this by 3 people to make sure that it was okay. I said, no, I'm not doing this. No, I need to work. No, I need to do this. And I said, no, you haven't been on a vacation in like a year. It's only 5 days. Just go. Yep. It's important. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I feel good about it. I haven't lost any sleep over it.
Right.
And, it's a bit of the self-care that you need to stop down so that you can reset and come back to what you're doing. And just like what we were talking about earlier, it could be this, it could be yoga, it could be reading, it could be taking a walk. It's whatever's going to help you reset.
Exactly. I mean, quite often the things that fill our cup, they don't take that much time.
No,
you know what I mean? Right. It's, if it's meditation, like for me, when I wake up, I open the blinds, to my patio. I look at my garden and I'm like, I am so happy and grateful I'm alive. I am so happy and grateful that I'm able to do this, because at this point, in a certain point in my journey, I was in a wheelchair. I was bedridden. So doing those little things, and if you're in the point where you're like comparing, like, I've never been in a wheelchair, don't piss in your Cheerios, man. Like, this is your journey. Like, own it. Meaning a lot of people, you give yourself an out when you're like, well, I don't have it that bad. But then you forget, your focus is not on you then. It's on somebody else and their journey. You can use other people's journey as inspiration, but don't use it as a distraction.
Right. So don't use it as a comparison.
Yeah.
Use it as an inspiration. We're not keeping up with the Joneses.
Right.
We're trying to do our own thing. But you can use that information to bring that in to make your journey that much better. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, And Gen Xers, we're quite sandwiched in a lot of obligations. We're still, working full time. Some of us have kids or other obligations to nieces, nephews, whatever. And our family, our parents, they're getting older. Most of them are probably in their 70s, 80s right now, where a lot of things, start to happen. That's where I am. And I feel like I'm 24/7 Nurse Kinsey.
I bet you do. I've already done that thing that you're talking about. Some of us of the middle to upper Gen X area, we've lost our parents.
Right.
But we've had that struggle, and I had it with both of mine. So I have a lot of empathy for that situation that you're in right now.
Yeah, and that kind of just leads into, so first, just get set in where your circumstances are and where you want to be. No judgment, no comparison. Just be brutally honest with yourself.
So what you're saying is take the synopsis of where you are.
Exactly. And that kind of just leads into, okay, what boundaries do you need? What bumper rails in your life do you need to fulfill that self-care?
Yes.
Because you have to know the lane, my friends, of how to get from A to B. It just doesn't magically happen. That's a fart. It just goes everywhere.
Wow. Metaphor to that metaphor. I like it. The old adage that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of simple, but it is actually true. You can't just work. And if you're having problems right now with working too much or not having enough work, you have to assess the situation and see where you can fit a little bit of self-care in there, because it's going to be like almost like a fertilizer, like a fodder for the betterment of yourself, because you can't, work 12, 14 hours a week every day and think that that's going to be okay. I did that once. I did that for like 6 months. I was working 60 hours a week at a job at a bank as a bank teller, and I was working at a radio station for 12 hours a day on the weekend.
Right.
So, what is that? 64. That's 64 hours a week.
I mean, honestly, to nurture the plant of yourself, I'm going to use the gardening metaphor. So to nurture yourself, you have to clear out the weeds. So there's 2 W's. There's work and worry. Those are usually the 2 things that I hear when I'm coaching people. It's like, I don't have time, I work, or I'm always worrying about this or that. You get in, so clear those W weeds out of your mind and reframe them. Yes, you have to work. No, you don't have to worry. I'm not saying that you're going to be, unicorns and sunshine up a unicorn's butt. That's not what I'm saying. But you don't have to deplete your energy with the angst. Does that make sense?
That is correct. And I like how you worked work, worry, and weeds, all W's, into the same thing. And worry, I like to tell my clients, is a very useless energy that we are burning, that we don't need to. As children, we kind of get used to worrying a little bit, and then we realize that whatever we were worrying about didn't come true. So then it becomes set in ourselves, like, well, if I worry about it, then it won't come true. That has nothing to do with it.
No, because, the only way you can gather data, points in your life of what works is action. So, and then you can, so you act, you assess, and you readjust, and you rinse and repeat. You leverage what you learn and go forward. When you just worry, you're just in a cesspool, marshy land where you don't know which way's up. You don't know if you're going to sink. You just don't know what's going to happen. And you get yourself I mean, just in your body, you get all of those stress hormones, those chemicals up, which can lead to heart disease, which can lead, to a lot of medical conditions. And it's just, nurture your vessel, nurture the garden of you, nurture, weed those things out, weed them out.
There's no problem with doing that, in that sometimes Gen Xers feel a lot of guilt when they start to do a lot of self-care, or any self-care. We're trying to tell you
it's
that
okay.
Self-care is healthy. You're not going to self-care yourself to where you're just like, okay, I'm not going to work and I'm going to lay in bed all day and play video games. That's not self-care.
No.
Self-care is taking that walk. Self-care is doing the yoga, going to the gym, playing with the dog, going on a weekend vacation. That's the self-care that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's nourishing yourself. You're putting the fertilizer on you.
And even though we know what fertilizer is made out of, it's still okay.
Yeah.
In this instance, it's all right.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think quite often how we sabotage ourselves is we don't know our values. We don't know where we want to go or what we stand for. And we kind of blow in the wind with what people are telling us or what the next fad is. We get into the FOMO of what other people have. But the thing is you don't understand the journey they've been through. Most people don't talk about the crap that they waded through. They talk about their successes and look at me. Right. But I can guarantee every single one of them waded through some crap to get where they are at. Yes. So being crystal clear on your values, I mean, honestly, just ask yourself, what do I value? If you need a list, look up, use Google with a list of values, circle the ones that resonate with you, not what you think other people will think that is a good value, what you truly value. And just ask yourself, why do I value this? How can I facilitate this in my life? And just really get cozy with the fact of the value, not hinged on what other people think or what you should do. And you will really narrow down the values that are in you, your truth, your essence, what gives you purpose, and try new things. I mean, if you want to try to do something different that you've never done, I mean, be a child. Just embrace it. Just be in it. Just be curious like a child.
Thank you. I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say. Was there was that adage that everything we needed to learn, we learned in kindergarten, and you were talking about the simplicity of just going to Google or ChatGPT or whatever and finding a list of values and circling those. It seems childish and simple, but it's something that's going to help you point things out. And I know from doing the jobs that we do that a lot of times putting pen to paper is really, really helpful.
It's cathartic. I don't know what it is, but there's
big words that you use. I'm not.
But I mean, there's just something about it. They've done a lot of research on it, and the people that write stuff down, the people that journal, they seem to move through circumstances a lot easier. So are you purely sabotaging yourself by ignoring just writing stuff down? I mean, this is a truthful question. It sounds silly when I say it because you're like, of course I'm going to do that. Of course. But do you actually do it? There's no shame. There's no judgment. I mean, we've all been there where we're like, I know I need to do this, but I just don't want to. I mean, there's days I'm like, I just don't want to journal, but I know the days that I don't journal, that my day doesn't go, I don't have that sense of purpose, that energy inside me. We don't make it a task I really want you to reframe
Yeah.
journaling as a task, because tasking yourself, I mean, it's like a checkbox mentality. It didn't work in my upbringing as a Catholic. It's not going to work now. You know, I mean, when I came to the truth of who I was when I really understood my own values. It wasn't determined by my parents. It wasn't determined by my church. It wasn't determined by my job title. It was determined by me. And me taking the time to really figure out what my values were.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And you said something about tasks and making journaling a task. You can have a day where you're not going to journal. For me, it was Easter. That was the last one that I didn't journal. And it was because I had driven about 260 miles that day.
Yeah.
You know, back and forth to family. You know, left at like 8 a.m., got back at like 8 p.m.
Right.
I was tired. And I said,
Right.
yeah, I'm going to journal tomorrow. And I let that go, and it's okay. But if we can spend 10 minutes on our, I'm echoing in your computer all of a sudden now, that's really weird. If we can spend 10 minutes on Facebook or the googly web on your phone and do that, you can take 10 minutes to journal. And it's going to be, what's that word, cathartic?
Yes.
I'm going to get these, if I had a pen, I'd write it down. It's going to be cathartic for you, and it's going to lay it out so you don't have to carry it in here. That's what I try and tell my people.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
too much in here. You need to lay some of that out. Don't carry 17 books at a time. Carry 4.
right.
And then
And
come back for the others.
even if you don't want to write, even just verbalizing it out. I'm sorry, but if you spend 5 to 10 minutes, taking a crap, you can release in 2 ways. You can push the record button on your phone and write a journal entry in those
And then
5 to
write
10
some
minutes.
background sounds, which would be even more interesting. Yeah. There you go.
I mean, think outside the box. I mean, we get so caught up on it has to be this way. And it's that perfectionism that everything it has to be a certain way. And I think a lot of Gen Xers, we get into that perfectionistic mindset because that is how we controlled our circumstances growing up. You know,
Absolutely. That is perfect. That's like a thesis statement for what you're doing.
right.
Yeah.
So really embrace that it doesn't have to be perfect. Give yourself permission that it doesn't have to be perfect. Just try different things. Even if I do things all the time where I'm just like, this is so silly. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn from it, see if it works. Mm-hmm. And I give myself permission. It's okay to have those feelings, but it's not okay to anchor to them to stop you or sabotage yourself from growing.
Yep. I couldn't have said that better. That was so well said.
Thank you.
I can't even add to that. I mean, I know that we're, beating on it, but not giving yourself permission to do the simplest things to help yourself and give yourself, now I'm going to use a big word, inertia. So you're working all the time and you're just not getting to the other side of where you need to get to. You need to take that break. You need to take that time for yourself. I would say that it doesn't mean going to the pub and having a few. I would say do something that really truly makes you happy. I have a friend that loves to just sit down and color. They get coloring
I do that.
books.
I love it.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
it.
And I just bought one a week ago for this reason because of them. And my daughter is an artist. So she's got all of the pens and the stuff, I had to ask if I could use it, oddly enough, but she said it was okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just something new that I'm going to try to add to my repertoire of things that I have to try and keep myself balanced. Because I could fall right back into that trap of just working all the time, not caring for myself, not caring for the people around me, making myself sick.
Right.
You know about how I was in March. Oh my gosh, top of March was just the worst for me.
Yeah, I mean, your brain works different when you're in that kind of horizontal state. This is the whole thing with EMDR. EMDR is just a whole process of processing trauma. So you either go from the bottom up, which is totally like emotional responses. And then if you go the bottom or top bottom, it's more logical. You overthink everything and so forth. But when you get into the coloring, when you're using different things that you don't normally do, you get more in a horizontal way of processing stuff. And you'll be surprised how much clarity you can have just by coloring, just by doing things. I've been coloring and I'm like, things that I've been logically overthinking. I don't know about you. I mean, I do that too. I overthink and I totally hyper rationalize everything. And then I color and then all of a sudden it's just there. I'm like, if it was a snake, it would have bit me. Like, really?
Yeah. It gives your mind a chance to open up. I've always called it the shower theory.
Right.
Like, you go take a shower, you relax, the water's hitting you. And my ex-wife, I used to drive her crazy because I would yell for her when I was in the shower, and I'd say, "Write this down for me," because I remembered something that I couldn't remember before because it was 17 things sitting there.
Right.
Now it's all gone.
Yeah. And I want to apologize because I know there's a lot of background. For some reason, my community is really loud today. So if there's background noise, I want to apologize for that.
All right. I'm talking to you on a laptop microphone, which you know how much I don't like that.
I know. So, I know. We're improvising. I mean, things do not need to be perfect. If you try You're
doing it. You're doing it, Peter. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, circumstances do not sabotage your self-care. Me and Bobby, we consider this, I consider this, Bobby, you can enter it. It's kind of our weekly check-in. It's kind of a self-care thing for us. This fills our heart up. So this is something where we set boundaries with. This is in our value set, how we serve. So, I mean, this is something that, I mean, crap happens. You know, last week we had issues and I just did a quick message. But you know what? You just improvise. You do. And I mean, if people can't accept that life happens, I mean, it's okay. I mean, they'll filter themselves out, you know, but I just really want to press upon the point. Don't talk yourself out of being the best version of you, you know. Don't sabotage yourself based on your circumstances or what you think you should do or how you should do it, or if everything's not pristine, perfect. I mean, we could have scrapped this because we're like, oh, I'm in Vegas. My community's really loud today, you know, whatever. But we didn't. We're here. Is it perfect? No. I mean, it is. We're filling our cup and we're trying to fill your cup also. And that's the premise here. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Huh?
Yeah,
I want to dovetail that.
Okay.
Because, last week, I had some circumstances. And the time just didn't meet up because I was kind of at the will of somebody else, and you completely understood what I was going through.
Yep.
And then, this week, I'm in Vegas. And I don't have to be doing this, but I want to.
Right.
I get something from talking to you. I always get a little tidbit of something, and I feel like I can also give that back to somebody else and let them know, look, you don't have to be perfect.
Right.
Pull yourself back.
Yep.
Color something, journal something.
Yep.
Take a breath. Put the bottle down. Hug your wife. Hug your husband.
Hug yourself.
Hug yourself. Right. Self-hug.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love self-hugs. Of course, my doorbell went off.
Perfect. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to roll right along with it.
I know. Max says hi.
Your doorbell sounds an awful lot like a dog, if I'm not mistaken.
Max, stop.
Max. to summate, we do this because we want to do this. This is not a paid thing. We just love to be able to bring something to somebody. Hopefully, we can get a word out to a few people, and they can say, "Yeah, I can relax. I can pull back. I can better myself in one way or another." So, I love doing this. I'm sorry I didn't get to do it last week. I'm going to go enjoy Vegas now. And did you know that next week is show number 50?
50, 50, 50!
Do you believe that? Gosh, I thought you got tired of me after 10. But hey, look at me. Still going. Did you mute so that you couldn't hear the dog? That's what I thought, because I'm like, I can hear your laugh. I don't even need the microphone. I can hear it from your house. So your laugh is so spirited.
Well, somebody's very defiant in getting me downstairs, so I think we're going to end it on that, and I apologize. This is a perfect ending. Perfect ending. Embrace it.
Shut it down.
I know.
Bye.